You know, the biggest smash hit original English language show that Netflix has ever done is not Stranger Things. It's season 1 of Wednesday.
Oh,
It's a huge, massive hit for them. They the Wednesday Wocast was just recently a sponsor of ours as well. And it was just such, I thought it was a bad idea to make that show initially, but they put such uniqueness into it. They cast it perfectly. And it became a massive cultural phenomenon and just really took off. How would season 2 do? Well, apparently not nearly as good, yet still amazing. All right. So the headline reads like this. You've probably seen some of these around. Netflix's #1 show just suffered a huge 43% drop in viewership, but fans can't agree why. Now, look, I want to make sure before we go into anything else here, we understand this show, the second season, is still by every metric a hit. I was reading that season 2 is already the 10th highest viewed season of original shows that they've had on Netflix. Number 10. And that's after suffering a massive decline. It's still number 10. So whatever is being said out there, reject the narrative that all of a sudden that Wednesday season 2 is a flop. It is absolutely not. It's huge. All right. That being said, it is also, though, true that it has suffered a big decline. For example, they broke Wednesday into 2 parts, which has worked very well for them with other series. Whereas part 1 that they put out for season 2 got about 50 million views. When they debuted the second part, it was like 28 million views. It declined by 43%. And The Wrap is now saying that the Netflix season 1 holds the Netflix's most watched English language show with 252.1 million views. Whereas season 2 now has an accumulated 95.4 million views to date and is projected to end somewhere between 110 to 135 million views. That's literally like a 50% drop. That's a 50% drop. And by the way, the audience scores for season 2 are every bit as good as season 1. Like, they're not the highest, they're in the 80s, but they're every bit as good as season 1. And that has, kind of spurred the conversation about why did this thing have such a drop off after the hit of season 1? Now, I'm not coming up with any of these reasons myself. These are reasons I see being discussed online. I think some of them are pretty good. One of them is this: time between seasons. I mean, I read one writer put it this way. It's bad enough when we live in an era right now where you're having 3 years in between seasons of a show. But they point out, particularly when your show is generally geared towards a younger audience. Not saying that Wednesday is made for children, but I think we all agree that Wednesday is kind of geared toward a little bit of a younger audience. It's good for everybody, but geared towards a younger audience. And their argument was like, when you're a show that's gearing towards a younger audience, you can't have a 3-year gap in between things. You just can't do that.
Your audience has graduated from high school.
Yeah, your audience started as freshmen, and now they're getting ready for prom. Yeah. Okay, they're getting ready for grad. And so a lot
I was a virgin when this show started.
A lot of things can change.
Virgin.
So that's a big one. Well, another reason some people are giving is the split season format. I don't know that I agree with that, because we've seen them experiment on that with other shows to great effect. For example, the last season of Stranger Things, if memory serves me right, they broke it up and the second part launched to bigger numbers than the first part did. I know the same thing happened when they did Lucifer, the final season of Lucifer, they did that way. So I know, maybe because it's a skewing younger audience, maybe the split does have something to do with it, but so far the track record of Netflix splitting seasons up has done nothing but help the show. So there's that. The other one is interesting, and I dismissed it at first, but the more I think about it, there might be something to it. A couple of outlets are pointing out the fact that the first season of Wednesday had a massive viral moment with the Wednesday dance.
The Gugamok dance.
Yep. It permeated everything in our pop culture. Saturday Night Live was doing skits about it. It was being mimicked and mocked in television commercials and all that. It was a huge thing. There was no TikTok viral moment of season 2. So, I mean, that's a great observation. How much of an impact that actually had in Wednesday losing half of its viewership or not, I don't know, but it's an interesting observation. Again, I want to make sure everybody understands Wednesday season 2 is still an undeniable smash hit. It's just that it dropped in half from the first one. Anyway, Rob, you see these numbers. It's still a generally liked show. It didn't seem to have a massive drop off in viewer ratings or viewer rating scores or anything like that. What would you think? Why do you think it had such a big drop off from the first season? Any of the ones that we've already mentioned? Do you have some others that you think should be considered? What do you think?
Well, I do think that it was a Zeitgeist show. When Wednesday first came on, people were a little dubious about it. The combination of Tim Burton, Jenna Ortega, her rising star, reaching its zenith on the show. But the Goo Goo Mock dance was big. But I would also say this. The show does not have a driving narrative the way, say, the Red Wedding on Game of Thrones did. When you're watching Wednesday, it's more of a hang, it's more of a feeling, it's more of a vibe. People like descending into that world.
Well, there's also a big mystery in it too.
There is, but that it's. I don't think people are. I don't think it's a narratively driven. Like, look, people have to tune into Alien Earth to find out what the hell happened this week. Is our little Oculus and the sheep going to do something bad? Like, what's going on?
Bad.
You haven't seen the new episode?
No, I haven't seen the new episode yet. But what I mean is, I don't think Wednesday is the kind of show that has captured people's imaginations. They love it, they enjoy watching it, and Jenna Ortega is great in it. But they're not hanging on the plot twists, even in the mystery. You know, we'll get to it. It's a good show. I like it, but it's not driving interest. And it's certainly not part of the zeitgeist that everybody wants to be a part of it so they can talk about it the way it was in the first season. And I think that that's just a function of what the show is. So I think like a movie like The Force Awakens that made $2 billion because Star Wars hadn't been seen in a while, that was it created an expectation that wasn't realistic. Hence The Last Jedi was only 1.3 billion. So I think that Wednesday had.
I love that we're using the word "only." The film that made 1.3
I know, but
billion.
I was using something high numbers, high numbers, and it creates an unrealistic expectation as to what it is. So to me, the story shouldn't be, how Wednesday's numbers dropped. The story should be that Wednesday is still doing well. If you're comparing it to the first season, they might wonder where the viewership went, and that's why we're talking about it. But I think people have unrealistic expectations because in this day and age, it's really hard to keep the zeitgeist of a show. People aren't going to talk about it forever. And when you have lost the zeitgeist after 3 years, you can't get it back.
Right.
That moment's gone.
Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Well, guys, the question is for you. Listen, Wednesday season 2 is still a big numbers hit. Make no mistake about it, but it has had a significant drop. What would you attribute that to? I mean, the audiences still seem to like it. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.